This is Coffee Talk with Sarah Bruschi. I'm going to write my name right here so that you can see it and you can know where to find me. Sarah, and Bruschi is spelled like this, and you can reach me at saraheducator.com. And what I'm going to talk about today is what if I had a ninth grader today, and what if that ninth grader were living in this area. We're in La Miranda, and going to high school. This ninth grader, of course, is high school. And they have, let's say, a B, or I would say like BB plus or something in algebra. And let's say they have a B or a C, I'll just put B in Spanish, and they're getting an A in PE, and they're getting, whatever, an A in their elective class, whatever that might be, computer science or something like that, right? And they're doing pretty well here, yeah? So what I would be doing is, this algebra grade is actually super problematic. People probably don't see that, but anything less than an A means that you haven't mastered Algebra 1, and in your future is geometry, the following course, and then the course after that would be Algebra 2, and it could be Algebra 2 trig with pre-calc, or it could be Algebra 2 honors or something like that. So this also, geometry has Algebra 1 in it and is based off of it, and then Algebra 2 is obviously super based off of Algebra 1. So you need to have Algebra 1 mastered in order to then fully access geometry and fully access Algebra 2. So this is your biggest problem that I see right now, and that would be something that you would want to jump into. Part of the reason why I thought of this morning is because I have 2 sessions, one on Tuesdays at 7:20 p.m. and I was like, ooh, who would that be the best for? And I'm thinking high schoolers, that's a perfect time for a high school student. Even some of my elementary school students, like a 5th grader or 4th grader, have taken these times. And then I have some Thursdays right now at 7:20 p.m. I think somebody does have that time actually. But this one is available for some of the time. So I think this one is fully open. So what would I do? I'd jump on that. I would be taking that, and I would say, okay, it's time to master algebra, and this is a great time because what are we in right now? This particular time, I'm in April. So you have April, you have May, and only part of May until it's finals time. And so you want to master that thing, you want to get that grade. It would be really nice to get it back up to an A if possible. And what I teach is to make sure that students could get 95 to 100% on every exam. Many do, because we do 2 different methods. So if you have 2 methods to do each problem, then that means that you do it the first way, you get the answer of 102 or something, and then you do it the second way, you get the answer of 102, then you're very, very likely right. So this is your biggest problem. That's a problem. If you have a C in algebra, you have a huge problem. I just want people to understand that and then go forward on that. I know we oftentimes are like, it's fine, everything's fine. That's what teachers do, because honestly, it keeps people from bothering the teacher. If you go, oh my gosh, as a teacher, that you have a B or a C in algebra, that means that I, the teacher, have to converse with you more. I need to do more work. I need to provide your student with more practice. I know it's not completely selfish that a person would say it's fine that a student has B. It's not completely selfish. It's okay they have a B. They're going to get on in life. Things will be okay. But is that going to get you where you want to go? Maybe not, and it deserves more. And I think that I'll go into it more, but definitely, let me say this. Actually, I'm going to say it right now. So there's a certain amount of information, and it's a finite amount that is expected for students to master between grades, preschool and all the way through 12th grade. Okay, so let's just say the things they're supposed to master through 12th grade. And let's think about this for a minute. California public schools, we always hear oh, we're not doing that great. Truth is, that's right. So our standards are pretty low. And so if you're saying by, having a B or a C in one of these classes, what you're saying is it's really not that important to even master the things that go through 12th grade in the California public schools. Now, if you said it's not that important to master all of the things that they do at Yale, I'm going like, yeah, probably. I mean, there's certain people who should master what it takes to be a doctor or a lawyer or a fantastic, outstanding writer, but those are outstanding, to be part of just our community and to be doing a good job at being productive in our community and contributing to our community. If you said you should probably know through 12th grade of the California public schools, I'd say, yeah, you should know that info. That's things like figuring out how many miles per gallon you get, and per gas tank or something, like something you might need. No, you don't have to know that exact thing, but those are things you would know inside of this. All these things that you master, you pull from this toolkit to run your business, to do your taxes, to choose the right accountant, to choose your finance and your budgeting issue, like to make choices in your life, to choose things, especially that have to do with your medical care and how you're going to pay for things like your medical care or your retirement or your next vacation, all the things we enjoy doing. So I want you to know that these things are critical life skills. So do you want to master them? Absolutely. You want to get straight A's. Now, if you don't get straight A's, is that the worst thing in the world? No, I'm not going to say that again. I'm going to say you can do what you want. That's fine. But I think that if we as a society could get people to master the through 12th grade skills that we expect in California, our society is going to be doing a lot better. So let's try to get rid of these C's and B's and things if we can. And my belief is I'm not telling people to do things that they can't do. So I'm telling people to do things that they can do. And you might need to have help with it. You might be having trouble, but you are not unable. So algebra, you want to look at that one first. So take that 720 if that's something you need, or, get whatever kind of help you can. Figure it out so that you get help and get that mastered by the time that you should, which is by the end of this course, which is finals. And if you haven't, I know many students do not master the Algebra 1 material by the finals time, and then you can review it or you can preview. You can choose either one, review algebra or preview geometry. And both of these will get you really nice results in geometry, because if you know algebra solid, you're going to be approaching geometry much better. And if you preview geometry, you're going to be seeing it the second time in class, not the first time, when a lot of the concepts are like brand new to students. If you've seen it before this time during summer, then it's not brand new to you. It's just like slightly, and you feel so much more confident. Anyway, so that is what I would be doing. And whether or not, which of these two choices would I make, one or two, really depends on the student approaching me. If a student is really having a struggle, that C in algebra, I'd be doing the review of Algebra 1. If a student has a B in algebra, I'd be previewing the geometry. That's pretty much how it would go. All right, so that is that one. You'll have, more people with ninth graders. What else would I do? Spanish. If Spanish is a B, I would be doing same thing. If it's a C, I would do the Spanish again. Spanish is an elective class, by the way. So electives are usually bumped up a grade. So imagine that in our old days, this is at least or at best, a D, and the B is at best a C. So Spanish, if I have a B in Spanish, I'd be doing, getting on that so that I can get the grade, a C so that I can get the grade. I'd take that 720 spot or another one like it. There are morning sessions available too, even though I'm usually booked up in the afternoons. There are students, especially high school students, who have met with me before school starts on Wednesdays or Fridays. That's when that's available. So I have those that people could jump on too. So I would take one of those, or, either the 7:20 p.m. or the a.m. session on Wednesday or Friday, and then Spanish. I have a C. I'd be doing Spanish again. So you're probably in Spanish 1 or 2. I'd be Spanish 1 or 2 over the summer. Best case scenario is grab one friend or two friends and put yourselves together into a small group, pay less instead of the big bucks, pay just to have a bit, and then you guys go from there and you preview, well, you review, that's the C, review Spanish 1 and 2. You could preview. It really doesn't matter. However you want to approach it, whatever your students are happier hearing really is the thing, because you're still going to be doing, you could say preview Spanish 2, 3 or something, but it's more likely preview Spanish 2 is how this is working out, if that's the case. Yeah, so I would just make a group and tell them either that they're reviewing or previewing, and the C is more likely a review, a B is more likely a preview, and go from there. Now, I want to tell you a little something else about these grades that I put down here if you have a 9th grader, because you may think something that isn't really the case, and then we're going to say one last thing before we go. If you have a 9th grader and that 9th grader has an A in PE, that's a good indication. That's good. That's a student, A's in PE. PE is what I look for to say, what does the student really want as grades? If a student has a B in PE, what does this mean to me? Something's going on that's more like an emotional thing than anything else, especially around here in La Miranda. If they have a B in PE, some part of them doesn't want to participate in the game of school. And so the game of school, they're like, I like playing the game if they have an A in PE. If they have a B in PE, I would go, why don't you want to play the game? Where did the game burn you, and how can we fix that? So that's the idea there. If somebody had a D in PE, when I have ever seen that, which isn't very often, that student is really most often depressed. And there's something really bothering them. And I don't mean depressed, like we need to get them on medication and we need to get them into, this child wants somebody to hear them, and they feel that nobody's hearing them. So that's what I see in a D in PE. I've really seen it, and it's sad, and it's a moment to stop and to listen to the kid. The kid is like really, it's like screaming to me, a D in PE, to say, I am unhappy and nobody hears me. That's this. And so unless, of course, there's some circumstances where it's like, oh, I've been sick, I had some issue, I went out for surgery. That's a different kind of thing. That's not screaming. But if you've been to school like pretty much every day, or you're kind of not going to school because you're upset about stuff, that's what that means. But some of these are like, I've been in school and I'm getting a D in PE. That would be really, really weird, I think. In our area, I don't see it very often, but I used to see it sometimes over the hill in the urban schools and stuff, and it was a big indicator. This one, so I'd love to see the A in PE. This is a student who it says to me, I am playing the game, I like school, I'm happy here, I'm just having a little bit of trouble. Probably, this one is definitely an organization issue, because 2 B's, it's like I want the A, but I'm just not getting it. And then it would be also a practice issue, and also a how to practice issue. So there's several things in there, and we can take care of those with some tutoring. And then this is fluff. So I don't know how to say that any better. And I do love those classes. I think that's fine. Everybody needs a little fluff. I used to have fluff even when I was in college, and fluff is fun. So, some of it's really good. Ask your child every day for like the first, few weeks or something, then check in very periodically about what is happening in that class. That's the only thing I would recommend, because some fluff is pointless fluff, and other fluff is super fun and useful and creative fluff. So just know that grade of an A, it means they're breathing in the classroom, and that they do the stuff. I don't know, kind of, even some of it is like, maybe they're not doing any stuff, but the teacher didn't assign any stuff, so the teacher gives you an A. I don't know, but that's pretty much how students describe it and how I have experienced it as a parent listening to my child. And so this is great, this is nice, and this is how it should be. If this is in the B category, be like, what are you doing? And start really checking in every single day about what are they working on. If this is a C, that might be a cry for help as well, just kind of like the PE grade. So keep an eye on those things. This is your, I forgot to mention the big one. So there's also English, and English would be, I know my writing all smushy today, but It's because I'm writing on it's almost like writing on a chalkboard without like putting my hand on it. So English, if you have an A, woohoo! If you have a B, all right, it's time to see someone because you're a ninth grader. So you need to be able to do some essays. Oh, and I did say I was going to say one more thing about the general, like being a high achieving ninth grader. So essays, again, putting these into A's, I do not consider like, it's okay, high achieving, but like it's kind of necessary. Just like I said, any B means you're not mastering the material. So we want our people all of our students to go out into their communities fully capable with all the tools that we like ask of them through 12th grade, right? We want them to be able to read and write at the level that is necessary to get mastery of all the skills through 12th grade. There is actually who and whom in there, but the honest truth is this is why I'm saying this. They're not really testing that to get to an A that I've seen. You can still get an A doing B quality work. So you're not getting every single like piece of grammar in there that some people would be like, well, that's ridiculous. My child doesn't need to know who and whom. Yeah, maybe they don't. So, but it would be nice, right, if we did, because these are things that we actually need when we're writing. I can tell the difference between somebody who's using who and whom correctly, and it does have a little bit of a sway in how I view that person's writing. It definitely, especially depends on what kind of writer they are. If they're just, and what they're writing. If they're just writing me an email, not as big of a deal as an author in a book or a poet or something. So essays, though, super important. They're doing the same thing year after year after year in terms of a pattern. It just gets a little bit more complex in terms of what words they use, the transitions they use, the themes they use, the books they're reading. So this is going to get more complex. If you're getting a B, you didn't master the skills of ninth grade English. And so you want to make sure that that doesn't carry over into 10th grade. So how do you do that? Take that 7:20 slot. Take that AM slot. And over the summer, English is something that just takes way more time to improve upon. Math, I would say less so, because you get this toolkit of these specific things you may not have seen before. Now you've seen them. If you have a student who's like quick to pick up maybe stories, associations, connections, then math can come pretty quickly through tutoring especially. But English is something that takes longer because it's a lot of practice hearing it over and over. You hear those things like you need to see a word 7 times before you have that vocabulary term like ingrained in you. So this is a time and a practice thing, and you need to write a lot of essays. So we have storytelling, which is a nice, fun way and fun sounding way to work on essays, and because it'll be like memoir essays and just different things. I haven't even decided yet because storytelling is just such a part of who I am all the time. Even for math, I'm always storytelling. So we're gonna just have so much fun doing the storytelling class and doing essays. Then we're also doing things by grade level. So again, just grab a friend or two and contact me. Say, hey, saraheducator.com, contact page. What time I have these 2 times that my friends and I would like to do an English group with you. And then what happens is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you get a grammar, spelling, or punctuation practice from me. Each day you get 1 skill. You master those. Every week you have 5 times like the 12 weeks of summer is like 60 skills that you walk into the next grade level with. Imagine those 60 skills. You bring that B right back up to an A. Also, you might get that A by the end of this time by taking one of these slots. And then I still would do like I need summertime, because English is just one of those things where it's like, well, you slid down a little. You probably missed some of the things. And and it is harder. You might not get that A in terms of the final. So, it takes some time. So there you go. So you've got your 60 skills. Oh, and each week we write an essay of some kind. So the storytelling one is really fun. You might want to join into that. Because it's going to be a little bit more like creative, but it's still going to have the same pieces that students need. I've had a lot of success with like giving students a little bit of freedom at the same time that you expect like structure is going to be built here, and we teach them how to build that structure. So that's great. Okay, so 1 essay per week and the skills. And so they get that. Okay, the last thing I'm going to mention, because this is super, super long, but if you have a ninth grader, I just wanted to say, like, spit it all out there. I wanted to give it all to you, let you think on what are the pieces that you needed to hear this morning. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was, it's going to be a couple years you're thinking, and you're going like, oh, I don't really need to worry too much yet about college, but this is the time for sure. When they're in high school, this is motivating. So the ninth grade is going to motivate their 10th grade, is going to motivate their 11th, and then they're out of here, right? 12th. So, and by out of here, I don't mean out of your family. Love your children. Keep them with you. I don't care. I want them in your house until they're 30 years old. Yes, I really do. Like Italian families, go for it. I did a little bit of my growing up in terms of, I was 19, but I went to Spain for a year and it had a big effect on me. I really think that it's so, so sweet when people can be like 30 years old and still live with their family. Like, okay, I know that sounds crazy. But anyway, I don't mean kick them out of your house or something like that when they are in 12th grade or when they graduate from high school. This is not my thought. This is my thought. You want to best prepare them for being like really great adults. And so 10th grade is not yet when they're going to take that test, but they'll maybe take the PSAT and they want to feel good about it and get a decent high score. And then 11th grade, they're actually taking the SAT and the ACT. And then 12th grade, it's like, yahoo, I'm leaving or doing whatever I want next, right? I'm doing my next thing. I'm leaving high school and doing my next thing. So when do you want to start thinking about the SAT? Ninth grade. Why not? There's no reason not to. So you can take fun trips too to see what colleges look like. Go to UC Berkeley. It's right near us. Go to St. Mary's. Go to DVC. Go to all the fun spots, wherever you want to check out schools, and go to the, tour all the UCs. My parents took me on a tour of that. So why am I saying all of this? Because I believe the SAT and the ACT are still very important. I honestly don't care that much about like how somebody scores on it we want them to master it, right? That would be great. But again, do they have to be Yale or something like that? Or why do I always use Yale? Stanford or Berkeley or whatever. I'm not pushing you to be like outside of your comfort zone. Okay, I'm kind of pushing you to be outside. Okay, I'm not pushing you to be something you don't want to be. All right, that's it. So, but should we all be these like masters of this is, I know the 12th grade skills. I know all the way up to and including the 12th grade skills. That means that I can vote, I can do my taxes or get somebody to choose an appropriate person for that. I can choose the best doctor. I can make good choices. This is how I make good choices as an adult. Do we want that? Yes, we do. So SAT just measures, and ACT measures whether or not you got all of the skills that you were supposed to get through high school. So should we still be testing that? Probably, to some degree. I mean, I don't know if every individual student really has to do it, but their school should or something like that, right? So, okay. So I still think it's kind of really nice that they have students do this, because what you want to do then is start preparing for it. So if you have a couple of friends, again, you go, oh, my +1 or +2 friends or +3, the price goes down, down, down. So here you've got, you're going like that, and then you got that, and then it's not so bad if you have 3 people plus you, and you do a weekly session where we go over SAT and ACT concepts, which are like same idea, just one a day from our Google Classroom. And we have 5 a week, so that's like 60 SAT and ACT skills that you should learn. And then you are doing, what's the other thing? Oh, then you're coming to me, and weekly we're meeting for the top tips and tricks. And it's not so stressful then. It's really just something where you feel better prepared. You are getting skills that are math skills, English skills primarily. So that's pretty much where you want to be anyway. So if you're doing like an SAT prep with me or an ACT prep with me, you're doing algebra or your English class together in one. So that's pretty much what that is. You're doing it at your level, so it's pretty much going to be grade level, and it's just mixed. You're getting, instead of 5 math or 5 English, you're getting like 3 math and 2 English per week. So that's, what is that, 3/5 of the 60 is going to be math, and 2/5 of that 60 is going to be English. You're just getting a nice little breakdown of both. It's pretty good. So you're actually getting a lot for your money. If you can get some friends together, like 2 or 3 friends, and you say, hey, we're all 9th graders, we may as well get on top of this stuff, we'll feel better next year. We could get on top of both our English and our math. Then you would come to me and say, hey, Sarah, can we get our group in there at 7:20 p.m. now? And then can we carry that through this summer? And I would likely say, yes, please. I love it. So I have some nice high standards. I love to share them with other people. This is Sarah Bruschi. This is saraheducator.com, where you can find me, and you can like and subscribe, please. That would be awesome. And just spread the word about what 9th graders would like to be doing. This would be something, I know that when a 9th grader is successful in these areas, that they are so happy, and that makes me happy, and that's why I do what I do. So spread the word to your 9th graders, and I hope to see you maybe even this week, next week, or this summer. All right, have a great day.